Hi guys, how are you doing? How are you doing? Hi guys, Mugadi. How are you doing? How are you doing? I've kept my promise for once. For once in for once in a lifetime, I've been able to keep my promise. I say today at 10. At 10 a.m. we'll be having a live where I nimechelewa na like 2 minutes. But at least I have tried to to keep my promise. So yeah, and so we will have a live session. This is what I'm planning. Maybe we can have a live session for about an hour or so, and then I also need to go live on the other channel. So I'll go an hour here, and then I know this time is not very convenient for so many people because saizi watu wako hustle, but as the time passes by, I will try to create time in the evening, though it's tricky, but I will try. I will try my best to create time in the evening. Please, if you join, make sure you like the video and tashukuru sana. And after you like the video, also please say hi. At least nijue uko areas, ndio. Please say hi so that I know that you are around. And if at all you've got any question, you can post your question on the comment section. And also, if at all you are courageous enough, I'll be sharing a link where you can join me and you can come and ask your question. Where hapa kuna kuku inasumbua, but it's well. Let me share. Oh gosh, oh gosh. Let me see. Maybe first of all, but let me just share the link, then I can continue with it. Yeah. Geez, I'm forgetting these things. Yeah, invite and then copy. Ooh. Then after that, we go to here. Just a moment, guys, and then I want to share the link. Good. So I have just shared the link. Please, guys, if you want to join me up here, you can click on the link and then you can join me. If you have any question, I'm not going to anything, then you can use that link that I have just shared. So, guys, as you can see from our today's title, I have decided like I'll be talking several things, but it depends with how time will be. Number one, I have said I will talk about how you can teach English online because as you can see, I said the other time that imagine me naingia live 10 in the morning. 10 in the morning, so many people are at work. 10 in the morning, so many people are like, how can I say? So many people, when you wanafanya biashara, they are busy at their business places. So I do teach English online. And so the time varies. So that's why maybe I'm able to join the live during this time. And probably maybe in the evening, it might be a little bit tricky for me sometimes because that is when I'm supposed to be holding my classes. So I'll go ahead and talk about how you can teach English, and then if you have any question on importation or on anything, then I can also answer that. So let me close this. First things first, where did this idea of me teaching English come from? What actually happened is some years ago, not so many years ago, but I came back on 2020 and I was working in China as an English tutor. And by then, let me tell you, before I went to China to teach English, I never thought that I can make it. I guess the reason that really pushed me to go to teach English is the fact that the fact that kupata job yenye nakupatia salary decent in Kenya na umegraduate, yani umetoka tu shule juzi, it was that is my own view. That is my own view. I know people have different viewpoints. I saw it's a little bit tricky, but I know it is the truth because hakuna venye unaweza niambia kutoka shule saa hizi and you get a very high paying job. Definitely you'll start pale chini and then you go up. So I was kind of, I felt like, no, this is not what I want. And then I got a friend who I knew was working in China as an English tutor. So we used to talk a lot with her, and I used to ask her how are things like teaching English in China. And so I was like, oh my goodness. You know, when I was in high school, I used to hate a lot like teaching. Mimi nikuwe teacher, like I was, no, 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 no. This one can't be my thing at all. It can't be my thing. So, but because after all, you need money. Unajua, sometimes it is not about what you love. Sometimes we kufikiria to like what means or what strategies utatumia for you to put food on the table. So I said, well, kama ni kazi naweza fanya, I can be trained and be able to do it, then I would go for it. So I planned on my journey on how to travel to China na nikafika China. And luckily, I got a job to teach. My first job, actually, which I got in China, was teaching English in a kindergarten. Let me tell you, before I never used to be this talkative. Like, I wouldn't imagine myself coming here on live and talking to people or standing before a crowd, crowd and telling them stuff, you know. But when I got there, my first job was teaching English in a kindergarten. So I got there. Number one, I have to gather the courage, and I have never taught before. Though, well, in Kenya, sometimes nilikuwa nafunza watu wa class 8, walikuwa wanaziita ni remedials. Hizi za classes za morning or late in the evening. I used to do that here in Kenya. So I went there and I taught English. And can I tell you the funny thing? Personally, in the campus, nilifanya Bachelor of Commerce, Finance option. So, hakuna vile nilikuwa najiona like nitakuwa teacher. But let me tell you the funny thing is, after teaching like for a month, like hii kazi nilikuwa nimeipenda na nimeipenda completely. Like, I don't know. Even today, I think I should be a teacher. That is what I should be because I really enjoy doing this. And I felt like it's the most rewarding job. So nikafika pale. Well, I had my own challenges over there because I remember kwanza ukikuwa tena sometimes ni tricky. I remember you go to teach English and the teacher tells you the pronunciation that you are using, it is not American. The Chinese, they want the American pronunciation. Nawe sijui natumia British. Like for example, something like, I don't know, door. I don't know which is British, which is American, but you have to follow this. You have to follow this accent. They want you to follow the American accent. So it was difficult, but with time I adapted because I had to prepare my classes before I go to class. And I guess kitu moja nilienjoy kwa teaching is the fact that number one, I was teaching very simple stuff because you can imagine teaching in a kindergarten, you are teaching the very basic things like book, pen, but you know, so easy, some easy vocabulary, so you don't struggle a lot. So later I left the kindergarten and I went in a training school. I don't want to talk about China stuff. This is what I was there to talk about. I was just giving a highlight of how I began teaching English. So afterward, COVID ikakuja, and when COVID came, I decided like it's time now for me to go back home because hizi tumekaa kwa nyumba and there are no jobs coming along. Mekaa nyumba miezi mbili, you're not going out, and you know COVID-19 in China, it was so, yani ilikuanga tu something else because hakukuwa kutoka nje, even the shopping unaletwa kwa mrango, so it was kind of tricky. So when I heard that kuna ndege inaleta watu Kenya, I said, oh my goodness, I think this is the time for me to come back to Kenya. Nirudi Kenya nitulie kidogo, then I will go back. Oh, to me since 2020 hakuna kurudi. It has been that tricky. So that is how I began teaching English. Okay, so when I came back, I thought so many things. By the way, I tried so many things. Number one, nilikuja nikasema, hey, mimi nikuja nikae na nikaa Nairobi, life is very expensive and I do not have a job, and I felt like nikikaa Nairobi, hiyo ni rent. Number one, rent is expensive, food also, and I do not have, like, sina pesa yenye naingia on a monthly basis, because as much as I was doing importation nikikuwa China, importation yenye mingi nilikuwa nafanya, sikuwa na import my own personal items. I used to import goods for friends, like I had a WhatsApp group, watu wana, how do you say, like they consolidate, like unasema you want 5 pieces of bag, mimi nasema I want this. So that is how I used to import, then naziweka in one package, then zituma, then I had someone who would collect goods here in Kenya and then apatia hao wengine, kwa zote nilikuwa nisha zilabel depending on the names. So I was like, siku hata nimeanza biashara ya importation, result niseme mwenyewe niko na biashara yangu. Secondary, so nikaona, I thought, let me go Ushago and do some farming before COVID itulie. You know, for me, I thought this COVID would be like, itakuwa kitu kama ya maybe 3 months, 6 months and then iishe. But mpaka saizi we are still suffering from it. So I did farming, farm one, how do you call it? One season. Is this the correct? Yeah, like I farmed for one, I think it's not season actually, but I farmed once. Then after harvesting, I was done with it. Then that is when, because even after when nilipanda, whatever I was pandering, I thought, pandering, geez, whatever I was planting, I felt like sasa nisha plant, sindio? Sasa what else nakaa nyumbani nikifanya. That's when I began business. Nikaanza biashara kidogo and then I started importing. Nikaanza kuitisha vitu zangu. Forget about that. Tulikuwa kwa English. So nimekaa nimefanya so many things, nimeimport, nimefanya everything. So when I came back to Nairobi, I was talking to a friend who we were working together in China. And she told me that she was doing teaching. And I thought, oh my goodness, why haven't I been thinking? Let me try to contact my former students. But most of the students, they didn't have a phone, so I didn't have their contacts. But at least I had the contacts of their parents. So I thought, let me contact them and maybe ask them if I can be teaching their kids, especially when nilikuwa nafunza during, how do you call it, like part-time or whatever, I don't know what the right is. Yeah, when nilikuwa nafunza part-time, yeah, on part-time basis. But so unfortunate that how can I say this? I contacted him and they were like, no, oh, how are you going to be teaching them? It's going to be very difficult, especially for the children. It's very difficult for them to concentrate. Now the children are used to watching cartoons and the stuff. Na mpaka mimi mwenyewe nikaona, by the way, this is so true. Teaching a kid online can be so hectic because you have to make sure that your class is very fun. Don't concentrate now. They have so many things. They have video games. They have fun games. They want to watch cartoons and all other this stuff. So making a child to concentrate on our phones online, it can become very difficult. So mimi nikakaa kama give up, and that was it. Later last year, I created a profile on Italki. I never gave up. I created a profile on Italki, but then nikafanya interviews and everything, and I passed on Italki. So profile yangu iko hapo. Mimi nikakaa 1 week, one week sipati students, I gave up na nikakaa kama singi kwa hiyo nini tena. Then something happened after like 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I went back to Italki and I realized I got a text. Kwa Italki nilikuwa nimesema naweza funza conversation English, Swahili and Kikuyu. So those were my languages. I found a student na alikuwa amenitext some time ago na sijakuwa nikilogin. So the student was she told me that she is a US citizen and she was coming to Kenya to teach English. So she needed to learn some Swahili. So by the time nilikuwa namtext back, very unfortunate because I was late. Aliniambia shapata teacher mwingine. So number one, there's some of these places where you can get students. You can go to Italki. Na Italki si lazima ukue like Italki, you can teach anything. If your mother tongue is if your mother tongue is low, if your mother tongue is, which are these languages? Kamba, Kikuyu, all these languages, you can teach that language. Kwa sababu unapatanga on Italki, for example, let's assume today I get a green card, I move to USA, and then I have my own children, and maybe staki ya watoto wangu wasahau culture yao. I don't want my kids to forget about their culture and language. So you find such parents paying for their kids such a lesson. They want them to learn their mother tongue, maybe learn Swahili, maybe learn Kikamba, maybe learn Kijaluo or whatever. So there you can get students. So si kusema ati lazima ukuwe umesomea this or this, no. Again, kitu kama Kiswahili na nile conversation, si ati nile Kiswahili, although I know Swahili can be a little bit difficult, si ile Kiswahili ngumu you can also teach. Then again, hata English, imagine. Hizi vitu ni kujiamini. Sidhani kuna Mkenya mwenye hizi. I don't think there's any Kenyan who can teach English, by the way. Especially kama ni beginners, isikuwe advanced sana juu sometimes advanced inaweza kalia msi, isikuwe advanced sana. So you can also do that. Hi, anytime, anywhere, anytime. Mambo sweetheart. How are you doing? Thank you for coming. Please make sure you like the video. Nitashukuru sana. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm so happy. God with us. Thank you. Thank you. Shisha. Shisha means thank you in Chinese. Thank you very much for coming. Nashukuru sana, by the way. Na nimepeana link hapo juu. Kama una feel like you want to join me over here and ask a question, you can ask any question. Any question. Kama ni importation, kama ni kufunza English, whatever question you want to ask, unaweza niuliza hapa hivi. And thank you so much for the support. From deep down my heart, nashukuru. So, nimesema haitoki, by the way unaweza pata students. Si students tunakuwa tumesomea ati whatever language. Si students ku umesomea whatever. Hizi vitu ni kujiamini, and you trust in God and you get it. So hiyo moja nimesema ni haitoki. Si ndio? There are so many platforms. By the way, imagine unaweza pata hata kuna platform yenyewe wanakuambia per hour watakuwa nakupatia $20. Imagine upate student, hata usipate students wengi, just get that student. Akuambianga nataka unifunzane maybe every day an hour. Ama kuambie 3 days in a week. Akisema 3 days in a week and the student is paying like 2K, how much do you have? You have your 6,000. 6,000 times 4, you have 24. You are teaching English, na hata kama unataka kucombine na biashara ingine, whatever you are doing, ama you go into importation business, hiyo kitu ija kukazia. Hakuna kitu imekukazia because you only teach for 1 hour. But then I can tell you my funny story. Saizi I have about 4 students. But the funny thing is, sometimes I leave my house. I'm also a Chinese student. I'm learning the Chinese language. Sometimes I leave my house, I go to school. And nikiangalia schedule yangu naona after class yangu imeisha ya Chinese, I have to teach. Okay, I have to teach. So naona hii time before sitakuwa nimemake to travel back to my house. So I just find a place. Ama naenda kwa restaurant yenye si noisy. Ama I go somewhere place free for field. I do my teaching. Because teaching yangu inakuanga tu easy, inakuanga tu just a phone call. Sifunzangi like ile kufunza, inakuanga conversational English. Like for example, it's so easy. Like how you can call me and we talk about, and maybe we can talk about what? We can talk about hobbies, or we can talk about my weekend. How was my weekend? So inakuanga kama phone call. We make a phone call. Tunaongea, how was your weekend? What did you do? And then I also share my experiences. I had a very bad experience. We share out. Then I correct the student grammar mistakes when I make. Ama akienda kuongea nasikia amekwama nashindwa hii vocabulary atatumia gani? Then I help them out. Thank you so much. Anytime. Thank you so much. Asanteni for the likes, my baby. Asanteni sana. Kukuwa na simu moja ni tricky. So Mungu tu anibariki na ingine, so that I can be taking the comments with another phone. So you can so easily, by the minute nasema you can so easily teach, na si ngumu by the. Kwanza ukipata student mwenye at least, mimi kwangu I prefer student mwenye ni beginner kabisa, ama mwenye at least ako tunamjanga nini intermediate. Sipendi wale advanced sana, because hao advanced wataniuliza maswali ngumu. Jamani, unajua English set kusema tulipita shule, so I don't like those ones. So ukipata huyo beginner ni mzuri juu unaanza kumfunza from the very basic things. Sometimes I know there's a girl, she's Chinese, I'm teaching her. Huyo hajuangi anything. She only knows to say some simple things like hello, thank you. So unapatangi like unaanza kumfunza basic things, like maybe you can tell her, maybe aseme sentences kama napenda kudance, like maybe it's hobbies. Unaanza kumfunza from sentences, kumwambia I like dancing. I like dancing. Unaanza kumfunza like very very basic things. But for you guys, I wouldn't advocate to call you a beginner, because you see, like for me, it's so easy. Like for example, kama namfunza kitu simple kama I like dancing, I will be able to speak to her in Chinese. Like I like dancing in Chinese, it says 我喜欢跳舞. So I'll be able like to translate I'll be able to translate directly. So for you I would advocate uende mwenye anajua ka English kadogo. Huyo mtu anaweza ongea kuhusu hobbies, huyo mtu anaweza ongea kuhusu family. You see, when you get such a student, it becomes so easy. It becomes so easy because unajua ni vile tu kidogo kidogo unamcorrect. Kama yesterday I had this class and the student alikuwa na make some very simple mistakes zenye hata mtu sijui niseme wa class whatever anaweza notice. She would say like my parents was ama last year my parents was. You see, hiyo nani hezi notice? It's not my parents was, it is my parents were. You see, hizo ni vitu tu simple. So number one, unaweza enda italki and you get students over there. By the creating profile italki. Kama uko mpoa na matatani yako, enda ukita people italki. Utapata tutafunza lugha yako. Utapata tunafunza lugha yako. Some people are so much interested in their culture. Other people utapata kwa italki, there are these people wenye maybe wazazi wao waliwachukua wakawapeleka majuu when they were very young. So they do not know their mother tongue. And maybe after growing up, they feel zile roots zao ni kama zinawaita. Kama huyo mtu alikuanga tuseme kama Mkisii, ana feel, oh, I want to know more about my culture. I want to know more about, culture yetu na language yetu. Napata msee kama huyo. So msee kama huyo akikuja kwako, unaona it will be so easy. Okay, si easy kumfunza vile, but students wako, so sisi unakuwa umesoma kama unaweza ongea Kisii, Swahili and English or whatever language, okay. It's so easy. And sometimes unapatanga si ati ni ile kufunza, wanasema wanataka ile conversational English. Na kwa italki there are two kinds of tutors. Kuna professional tutor na community tutor. Sasa when it comes to community tutor, a community tutor, it means like where you do not have any certificate to prove that you are an English tutor. Okay, today is on Monday, no. To prove that you are an English tutor or you are a Swahili tutor or you are whatever tutor. That is a community tutor. It only means that you are able to communicate and understand a lot in the language. You see? Or maybe you are a native in that language, but you do not have any certificate. When it comes to a professional tutor, it means lazima provide certificates like wanachanga CIS, how do you call it? TEFL. Teaching English as a second language. Teaching English as a second. TEFL, whatever, your certificate in English, they might require you to be having that English, indicating that you're already trained and that you can teach English professionally. You see, that is one of the platform ingine mimi naweza sema, this is platform yenye nasema imeniletea a lot of students, and you can try using this platform. By the way, mimi hiyo platform inaitwa Hello Talk. Kwanza nitaongea na Swahili for that matter. App inaitwa Hello Talk. Hello Talk, what happens in Hello Talk? Hello Talk is a kind of an exchange, a language exchange, a platform. Here you will get people from all over the world. You will get Germans, you will get Portuguese, Germans, Koreans, Chinese, Africans, all these people you get them in that platform. But those people, they have gone in that platform with most of them, of course, kuna mascammers definitely, ama wengine wamekuja kutafuta ma girlfriend na boyfriend, but most of them, they have come to that platform with the major goal of learning another language, with the major goal of learning the language. So what happened, how I got student on italki, mimi nilikuwa not italki, Hello Talk. I had gone to Hello Talk to practice my Chinese. And I was practicing my Chinese. So una indicate what is your native language. So for me, I indicated that my native language is English. And so which language am I learning? It's Chinese. So this app tries to connect language partners. Kama una learn English, Chinese, kuna mwingine language yake ni Chinese but anataka learn English. So it tries to match you. Maybe your native language is English and you want to learn the German language, and someone else here is a native German speaker and he is learning English. So in a try to connect, you see. So that's why I'd gone to that app, and I was on that app. Sometimes the app can get frustrating to language learners. The reason behind it, kama mimi naangalianga sometimes the chat, sometimes I want to practice the Chinese language, but unfortunately, all the chats are like, hi, how are you, what are you doing, where are you from, and then ukishaongea na mtu hiyo story imeisha. So unajipata like these are the only 4 sentences in that language, in the language that you are trying to learn, because upati partner mwenye ako serious to learn the language, you see. So as I think, because as a result of the, no, I think seemingly nilipata your frustration. There are so many people who get the similar frustration. So I met this one guy and he told me that he's frustrated with the aspect that every time he tries to look for a partner to learn together the language, partner wanaongea tu kidogo like 10 minutes and then the partner, and maybe the next time he's free, yeye saizi mchiko ako free, partner wake hayuko free. That is the frustration in there. So this guy told me he's looking for someone who's serious, and I told him I'm serious learning the language, but unfortunately pia sisi time yetu ilikuwa inaenda saa zile ako free, I'm not free, you see. So that is where he came and told me, what if Monica, we decide I pay you and then we agree on specific time when we'll be meeting. So that is how I got my first student. And the guy decided like, I will not practice my Chinese language, but I'll practice with him English language, and he will be paying me as long as we agree on what particular time we want to be meeting. So you can go on Hello Talk, tengeneza ka profile. By the way, mimi niliona Hello Talk, you can get students because unajua all those people are learning a certain language, and the moment umeindicate language yako native, you find people who are learning that language, so it's not difficult. But now the problem is most of the people are not willing to, because it is a platform where people exchange language. But I think if you go over there, create a very good profile, onyeshana wewe ni teacher wangu, so kama si teacher, ikifika time ya class you gonna try, mtu asimsikie si Mkenya, you're gonna do that, yeah, you're gonna try and you will practice your spoken English, yeah, you practice your spoken English and then utakuwa tu poa, and you will get students, and charge whatever amount you want to charge depending on your agreement. Nimalizane na hiyo, unajua naingia hapa hivi live for 1 hour. Can you go to imports, guys? Can you go to imports? Na kama uko na swali, please ask the question. Okay, nilikuwa nimeplan kuongea nini? I'm forgetting. Oh, I remember. I wanted to talk something to do with where is my pen? Just a moment. So I wanted to highlight something on payment. This is what I wanted to talk today because I'm genuinely in a question. So I wanted to talk about how to pay suppliers in China. This one is a very tricky question. And I remember either hiyo wiki imeisha, I did a video showing how to register for WeChat. But something I'm not sure. My 2 channels are confusing. I'm not sure whether I did that video on here or on Monica Karinge's channel. I'm not sure. But I know I did that video. And I did the video showing how to register for WeChat. You're not registering, signing up. Yeah, signing up for WeChat. Signing up for WeChat, it's not difficult, by the way. It's not difficult. And I said one of the importance of you having a WeChat is this. Kama mnajua, and I know maybe you don't know, but if you know, most Chinese they don't have WhatsApp. Most Chinese they do not have WhatsApp. But what platform do they use? Mostly they use WeChat. WeChat, it's like a combination of WhatsApp, a combination of Facebook. I don't even know how to call it. It's like a combination of everything. WeChat can be used to send videos, can be used to put on moments. Moments are like status. It can be used to make calls, to make video calls, to what else to do? To make payments. So many things. WeChat has so many things. So, and maybe someone can ask, why don't most Chinese use WhatsApp? I'll tell you this. Let me say it in Swahili. Mimi nilikaa China by the way. Let me tell you time nimekuwa China. Unajua nafanya China unashindwa kutumia WhatsApp. Like apps kama IG, apps kama Facebook, WhatsApp zinakwanga zimefungwa. I don't know how they close it, but zinakwanga zimefungwa. Zinakwanga zimefungwa. So, yes, nilikuwa natumia WhatsApp, but for you to use WhatsApp, unafaa kuanga na VPN. Na unajua, ukikuwa chinku na ukuwe na VPN, like inakwanga illegal. Ukipatikana nayo, you are in a very big trouble. So wachinku wengi wanakuanga waoga excess. So hawataki kutumia VPN because unajua ukipatikana nayo utakuwa into big trouble. Another thing, okay, VPN zinatumikanga na hizi kampuni kubwa kubwa, hizo zimepewa ruhusa to use it, but the normal people hawajapewa ruhusa. So again, I also think maybe the reason as to why watakata kubother na hizo kina IG na whatever, it's because the entire community, they are not using IG. Most of the people, they don't use IG, they don't use Facebook, they don't use WhatsApp, they use WeChat. So for them, WeChat is the most convenient way. And that's why I told you guys, kama wataka kwenda into importation. And because I'll be sharing out contacts, and I said I'll be sharing out contacts of these suppliers on my WhatsApp group. Yeah, I'll be sharing these contacts. You need that WeChat. Please sign up for it. Haitamalizika kusign up completely. Kuna part najua part 2 because sijafanya video ya part 2 because of something. But at least part 1, once you sign up on umeregister, it means that if I give you a supplier his contact or his WeChat ID, you are able, utaweza kumuongeza kwa contact list yako. Nikupatia QR code yake, utaweza kuscan, mtaweza kuchat. Na WeChat has its own advantages. With WeChat by the ina translating the messages there. Yani kuna vile mtu anafanyanga tu translate na kutranslatea. Kama mchinku, utapata suppliers wengine hawajui English hata mu. The only English they know is hello and thank you and goodbye, and that is it. Nothing else. Yeah? So when you have WeChat, it's good that mchinku akikutext na kichinku unafinyanga tu ina translate. Well, translation sometimes can be having a little bit problem, but trust me, you'll get the main message. Wewe unamtext back na English, pia yeye ana translate. So that is the advantage. But usemangi tunachat na mtu na WhatsApp, ushinange kutoa information from WhatsApp, unapeleka Google Translate ama whatever app that you're using to translate. So that is one of the advantages. Again, on WeChat, once you have WeChat, and I've given you the contact of the supplier, it means that you are able to access their moments. Akingekuwa na simu mbili singeonyesha, lakini niko tu na moja. But I will get one soon, and these things will be so easy. So, what I mean by moments, they are like status. Utapatanga suppliers wengi wanaekanga status zao ama moments zao for maybe 6 months period. So throughout you'll be able to be seeing who supplier amekuwa na hii ama jana ama last week ameweka hii ako na hii and if you're interested in such product, then it will be so much easy. Baada ya ukiambia mtu nitumie picha ile product mpya imeingia, unaona, but when you're able to view their moments, then it becomes so easy kuona ako na product gani, unaona, it becomes so easy because sometimes kuna sometimes nauzanga stuff and mtu anakuambia nitumie picha. Imagine unatuma picha mpaka una feel like it is too much. So that is the other advantage of you having WeChat. You'll be able to access the suppliers moment, or rather the status. But I was trying to do a part 2 of the video on the WeChat stuff. And the part 2 of the video, it's whereby you are able to use WeChat to pay your suppliers. Nimejaribu kufanya research on how you can pay your suppliers using WeChat kama hauna bank ya China, uko tu na bank ya Kenya, ama you have bank ya whatever country you come from. Unfortunately, after researching and asking so many people, wameniambia it is impossible. I don't know if there's a way to add an international bank. When I mean an international bank yenye si ya China, I don't know if there is a way. That one, I don't know. I have tried to research, there isn't. But this is where now I come in. Si lazima ulipe supplier na WeChat. There are so many other methods and safe ones that you can use to pay your supplier. You can use to pay your supplier. Kama mimi I have WeChat Pay. I have the capability to pay the supplier using WeChat. But there's one thing very unfortunate. Saizi tuseme niko na Kenya shillings, I want to convert this money to RMB or Chinese yuan. It becomes so difficult. So to me sometimes najipatanga, as long as kama niko na WeChat Pay, I don't use it to pay my suppliers. You see? So you just make maximum use of the WeChat to chat and translate the communication with the supplier. Okay, but when it comes to payment, kuna methods mingi sana unaweza tumia kulipa your suppliers, and I will come to that. And before even we conclude on the safest, juu kila method yote utatumia iko na disadvantages zake, but of course there's the safest method that you can use to pay your suppliers. Before even we go to that, I'll give you a very good strategy that we used with a certain guy. This guy is in Qatar or Dubai. Aka nimesahau jina yake. And I think I'm going to invite him one of these fine days kwanza nimuulize mzigo yake imefika wapi. I did guide this guy how to import from Alibaba and akaship. Sijui kama mzigo imefika. I'll call him and ask whether mzigo yake ilifika. And I didn't give him the supplier. He went the Alibaba way and I helped him on how to pay. And how did this guy pay his suppliers? Nilimuadvise because now it was becoming difficult methods za kulipa na sikuwa nataka mimi kutumiwa pesa. Nikamwambia the shipping agency that I do use, they offer services za kuna services they do offer, and that's why I like this shipping agency. They do help you in what? Wewe umeenda Alibaba, you have gone to Alibaba and you have checked a supplier, but you are not sure about is this supplier real ama this is just another Kinovia down there mwenye anajifanya yeye ni mchinku, you know. So he helps you in what? Wewe unamtumia link ya the goods that you want to buy from Alibaba zenye umechagua, and you send him the screenshots ya your company. Then what does this guy do? The guy, juu ako China, he's able to confirm and check the existence of that company. Is there such a company ama huyu mtu is just another Ganothia or whatever? Okay, let me know this Kikuyu word, whatever ama, you know, mtu anajifanya na hapo hivyo chini, you know. He confirms that, and then after he confirms, wewe unaweza mtumia pesa either na M-Pesa ama unaweza mtumia pesa na your bank account depending on how you are going to agree or the most convenient way. And because he's in China, he is able to access the currency, the RMB, then he is able to pay the suppliers. It meant to become so easy kwa sababu history ya convert pesa kwanza inasumbuanga sana. But that is not the only strategy. I guess maybe I will do a video indicating all the other payment methods that you can use. But for this one, I trust these methods because I've been using this shipping company for a very long time. And the name of the shipping company in Itango, China Link. Yeah, China Link Cargo. That is the name of this company. It's not very famous, but I love their services. I remember my first shipment in nilituma Kenya. Nilikuwa China. A guy guided me on how, when I got to China and I wanted to start importation, a guy guided me on how I'm supposed to do the import. Then akanipatianga kampuni yenye sitasema jina yake, akanipatianga namba zao. I tried texting them, they are not answering. Nikasema, Jesus Christ, if a shipping agent you want to tell, unataka kuambia nataka kuwapatia kazi wakuletee mzigo Kenya, you are texting them and they are not answering you. Nikasema this one mimi kwangu it's enough, because na mzigo ikipotea, will you even pick my calls? Na mzigo yenyewe ikipotea, will you even pick my calls? And actually it's a very big company. I don't know why they behave that. I don't know, ama hiyo ndo culture yao, I don't know. So that's why I contacted another my friend, kamwambia mimi nimecontact the company lakini I'm not comfortable with them. Do you have a shipping agency? That's when they give me the China link and I love their services. And actually one day niko tu na haraka tu zangu nasukuma sapa yangu namwambia kwa nini hukupack mzigo yangu jana, nipata hiyo mzigo iko kwa warehouse in China by this day. So nimesukuma mchiko haraka nitumanishie mzigo. So akaniambia ametuma. Sasa nikamuuliza umeandika nini juu ya box yangu? Akaniambia jina yako. Umeandika country? Umeandika namba ya simu? Akaniambia na picha hana. Ananiambia ameandika all my information, lakini mwambie juu nilikuwa nimemwambianga mimi natakanga ukinini mzigo yangu nitumie picha nione umeandika Monica blah 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 and this mzigo is going to Kenya and it's doing blah blah blah, all those stuff. So nikamuuliza nitumie picha nione, nikamwambia nitumie picha nione hiyo mzigo. Nione picha ya hiyo mzigo nione kama umeandika all my personal information correct. Akaniambia ati picha hana, hakuchukua picha. So mzigo ikaenda, sasa una choice. Nikaanza kutext the guy in the shipping agency, nikamuuliza mzigo wangu imefika? Ananiambia bado hajafika. Mzigo wangu imefika? Haijafika. So I texted my supplier and I asked her, by the way, mzigo wangu imefika? Akasema Akaniambia yeah, mzigo imefika, because in China there's a way that you can able to access whether kama ni item umetuma, there's a way that you can able to access, uone kwa ile address ulikuwa unatuma hiyo mzigo imefika. So akanitumia screenshot akaniambia yeah, according to this information inaonyesha mzigo yako ishafika. Napigia wale wananiambia hatuoni mzigo iko na jina yako. So I stayed and I stayed mpaka nikaanza kuona mzigo yangu ni kama imepotea, ni kama imepotea. Mzigo nasikia container inaloadiwa na mzigo wangu bado haijapatikana. Time imeenda, so I'm assuming mzigo inafaa kuwa kwa warehouse. But fortunately the agent actually ni help sana 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 sana, because msi alitafuta mzigo wangu, mzigo akaniambia mpaka mzigo yako nimeipata. Mzigo wako ulikuwa umewekwa place corner. Kwa nini ilikuwa corner? Hii mzigo yes iko na jina, but mzigo yako haijaandikwa inaenda country gani. Mzigo yako haijaandikwa namba ya simu. So there's no way we can ship such a package. The reason behind it, if we ship a package without, the package doesn't have the country, the package doesn't have the contact. So we are not sure which country is this package going to and who is the owner. Yes, we have the name, but we do not have the owner, because kama hakuna namba ya simu, once the mzigo arrives, who are we going to contact? And secondly, hawawezi chukua mzigo wakaship Kenya. Juu kama mzigo it belongs to a Kenyan ama mzigo it belongs to who. So that's why I'm saying that's a very good shipping company to use. Okay. Let me see. So guys, follow me on this channel. Make sure you subscribe, and also subscribe to the other channel, Monica Karinge. And guys, I think I'll be ending this live here, because I need to go to the other channel and do a live for about 1 hour or so. So guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. Sijui tuonane next time. Bye bye and 再见。